Hi guys, today I am back with another video on all things influencer virtual assisting, and today we are going to be diving into the pros and cons of being an influencer virtual assistant. I have been in this industry for quite a while now, so I feel like I have a good stance on what some of the pros are, what some of the cons are, and all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The first pro is that you have control of your time. Also, like in my other videos, I do have a blog post that follows along, so I am going to be referencing that, and feel free to go over and follow along with it as well, just to make sure I don't miss anything. Number one, control of your time. 10:30 a.m. workout, 12 p.m. doctor's appointment, 1 p.m. drinks with your girlfriends, like no problem, you can do it. You have control of your time. Unlike standard corporate jobs that are work from home, for this, you don't have to be tied down to your computer. You make your own hours. You decide when you want to work. And so you get to work where you want. And it offers amazing freedom that many jobs do not have. Honestly, one of my favorite parts is being able to do that morning workout, because who wants to get up at 5:30? Not very many people. So this has just been an awesome part of the job. But the con to that, work still has to get done. If you have a contract with a creator that says you're going to be available from them from 8:30 a.m. till 4 p.m., that's your contract. You have to stick to that. But if you're not wanting to do that, then think of that ahead of time. Set up your contract to where you are only working a set hours a week and you get to choose when those hours are done. You don't have to be at someone's beck and call if you don't want to. So that is another thing to think about and just be aware of. You have to set up your schedule like that if that's a schedule you want. If you sign a contract saying that you're going to be able to respond to them within an hour of turnaround time, be sure to stick to that. Another pro is you set your own pay. One thing that I quickly realized working in the corporate world is that I was not satisfied with my pay doing the work that I did. Something that is often heard and experienced in the corporate world is that you're often overworked or get more responsibilities added on than were originally discussed in the entry salary plan or the original compensation plan. So something that I have found so valuable is that I get to set the amount of pay that I want that makes me excited to wake up and do the work in the morning. If you're not excited and don't feel well compensated, that's going to show up in your work. That is going to show up in everything you do. So you have the ability to set the pay to something that makes you feel good. No one wants to work for nearly nothing and be working their butt off. That is the amazing thing about this role. And also, you can increase as you feel is worthy. Now, going with that, I wouldn't recommend increasing every month or even increasing once a year, like depending on how much you increase. But if you have attended a training, if you have got more experience under your belt, don't be afraid to increase your prices. Whereas if you're in the corporate world, it could take up like 5 years just to get a $5 pay raise. So that is a pro that I think is worth so much. Another pro is you get to choose who you work for and what services you provide. This is something that is also really amazing. When you enter the corporate world, and like I mentioned, I did previously work corporate, so that's why I am comparing this, because I know a lot of you are in the corporate situation, so just kind of comparing and contrasting to that. But in the corporate world, say you sign up to work for Tyson Chicken. That's who you're working for, and you may like meet with one general manager whenever you're interviewing, but then whenever you jump into that role, you realize that you're working with a lot of people who you may not jive with. And yes, that is the way the world is, but it doesn't have to be. Whenever you're a freelancer, you get to choose directly who you work with. Interview the person at the same time they're interviewing you. You want to make sure that you jive well with them, that you guys carry the same values. If not, it's not really going to create like a lasting relationship and something that you enjoy. So really make sure to interview them as much as they do you. You also get to choose what services you provide. If you don't want to create blog posts, don't put that on your resume. Don't create blog posts. Don't say you offer it. If you don't like posting to social media, girlfriend, don't put that on there. You do not have to do that. You only get to do things that you want to do. But then on the other hand of that, it kind of goes back and forth. If you're like me, like I was in the beginning, and you're wanting to make as much money as you can, get as much experience as you can, then you may have to branch off and do some things that aren't your favorite. But if you don't want to do that, no worries. Only choose what you really love doing. Con, you have to manage your money and your retirement plan. Most people that I've seen do not offer retirement accounts and taxes and things like that because you're a freelancer. If they do offer that, then they're probably looking for you to be like an employee salary position. Then that really doesn't have the same benefits as I'm discussing here. I'm more so discussing the freelancer role. So in the freelancer role, you're going to have to keep track of your income, your expenses. Yes, write-offs are amazing, but you have to be sure to keep track of them, keep receipts for them and everything. So when it comes tax time, there are no little wiggle room, anything that they could find fault in. So the past 2 years I have done by myself, but as I get in deeper, I have turned to actual financial advisor help, someone to do my taxes for me, to kind of help me keep on track of my income and expenses, just to make sure, because no one wants to get in trouble with the IRS. I can promise you that. I never have experienced it and hope to never do. Along with taxes, if you want to retire one day, I would highly recommend learning some investment information. Personally, I work with a financial advisor just to kind of take some of that off my plate. But there are so many options. I'm really not that well versed in this area, but I do plan to retire one day. So that is something that I try to contribute to each month. So just remember that if you want to retire, set aside some money for that as well. Another pro, expressing your creativity. I feel most fulfilled when I get to express my creativity. But I've learned that over the years. And I get to do that every single day in this job. I get to create graphics, create thumbnails. I just get to do stuff that makes me feel good. And if you're a creative person, this is going to be amazing for you. I really believe that most people in this world desire to be creative in one way or the other. And so this is an amazing outlet to do that. Another pro, you get to join an amazing industry. The influencer and social media world is something like any other, and I absolutely love it. I get to see behind the scenes of brands and just all the ins and outs of how everything works, and it's truly made me love it even more than I used to. There are some dark sides to it, so if you're not a huge social media fan, this might not be the right fit for you, but if you are and you're fascinated by it, it's going to be an awesome fit. The last con is that if you are working as a freelancer, you have to watch out for yourself. I like to think that the world is mainly good, but that would be naive of me to think. A lot of people are looking out for themselves and aren't really concerned with you. So make sure you have don't sign any contract unless you have read it top to bottom. Please do not, because you may get yourself stuck in situations where are just not good. I don't even have any examples because luckily I've never been in this situation exactly, but I have heard horror stories of people who have. But I can say, make sure there is a payment plan system set in place, signed by you and your other person. If you get paid every 2 weeks, make sure that is set in stone, and make sure you guys know, are you working a set hours? How many hours you're working? Are you getting paid before your work? Are you getting paid after your work? Make sure all of this is set in stone before you begin any work, because we do not want to be doing free work, ladies and gents. We do not, or at least I do not. So make sure that is all set in stone. And as I wrap things up, as with any career, there are going to be some pros and cons, but I can honestly tell you, from working corporate experiences when working for other people, there is nothing more freeing than being a freelancer for people that I choose to work with. It is amazing, and I cannot recommend it enough, and I have made more now than I ever have before. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave any questions or comments, or if you have any other pros and cons to add, feel free to leave them down below. And yep, thank you guys so much for watching.